And here we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our second episode. We have a 10-part series, don't we, Jeff Bond?
I do, and I love that intro too. I always love that.
It's
How are you,
super,
Mia?
super fun. I'm doing well. Thank you. How about yourself?
Well, just kind of did a couple inspections. Looking forward to getting busy talking about this.
See, this is when you know what we're actually doing. We're not only in the fields, then we come in here and do this as well. So yeah, we're on part 2 of our series. Today, we're going to talk about analytics and performance metrics. Those words probably sound way overwhelming, don't they?
Yeah. Also, convert just to put it all back in perspective. Conversions is just getting more hits for each at bat. That's the idea.
Thank you. Sometimes you got to put it into very simple terms for us. So I'm Mia Voss. This is Jeff Bond. Now we have our marketing expert, Ammon. We're waiting for him to come in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. But first, let's go real quick and talk about what we talked about last week. Real quick recap. That was part 1. What did we talk about, Jeff?
Well, mainly just summarizing what the series is going to be about and how we're trying to break it down into small pieces so that they're manageable. You can watch a half hour at home and get a real key concept about online marketing well in hand, and just kind of set the stage for just that these are all important tools as inspectors need to transition to the online presence, because it's really where a lot of people are buying services now.
It is. And so one of the reasons why we initially started talking about this is because inspectors are so busy when they're on the job site, right?
Yeah.
And right now is a time more than any other time to go back and really get things put in place so that you can have clients that come in from other places, right?
Not only that is that you can, instead of being just someone picking up and getting a phone message, is you can actually have your ambassador for brand is available online, presenting videos and pictures and taking online orders, and it's just a much more receptive and appreciated system. People like this.
It is. And, there's a lot of fun stuff that involves with inspecting. There's all kinds of fun stuff that we see when we're on a job site. So that's one thing, is sharing that as well. So let me talk real quick. So last week, and we're going to post the link, like we said, for episode 1, and we went over what is the series. We went over what is marketing, what benefits can you expect, and am I really marketing, which is always an interesting topic to go through. So we're going to post the links for our very first episode, and then we're going to end up putting these into nice little bite-sized morsels and putting that on YouTube as well.
Yeah, Scott's going to take care of making like the little important pieces and nuggets easily accessible. So even if you don't have 30 minutes, it's like you can probably learn something in 20 seconds sometimes.
And we're going to have timestamps. How do you like that? We're going to have something where
Very
you can
fancy.
say, that's what this, it's super fancy,
Yeah.
where it says, this is what happens at this minute, and this is what happens at that minute, and you can pick and choose. So with that being said, let's dive in. I'm going to pull up the slides here. Jeff, you let me know when you are ready to go to the next slide. And this is what we're going to talk about today, is analytics and performance metrics. What do those words mean, Jeff?
Hey, well, I've talked to experts for 5 and 6 years now, telling them how to implement all this to make my business actually work. And it's been a real struggle and a learning process, but it's really paying off now. It's a process and commitment to change. But the key is that you cannot make any kind of conversion improvements and improve your process if you don't know the variables. You can't make a good meal if you don't know the ingredients that go in. So analytics and performance metrics are just simply quantifying what is important to measure and then giving you tools to do it. And so there's different terms you hear, like channels, which is just where the business comes from. Maybe it's phone calls, maybe it's online orders, maybe it's word of mouth. The channels just helps you understand where the traffic's coming from, because they all behave differently. As phone call business is different than internet business, you need to have different tools for all your channels. Analytics is a tool that's it's applied by Google, but you can find other analytic tools, and they're ways to measure the traffic coming in to your website and all the other systems. Advertising, of course, is not my specialty. I'm using AdWords and also Facebook ads slightly, and you want it to be consistent about getting messages out. So how about that next slide?
Let's see if I can get that to go for you here. There you go, sir.
Wonderful. Yeah. And then there's lots of tools. You got to remember is if you're a small business, you may not have a time to do a lot of this. So you're going to just use a couple of these key tools, and then just learn how to just look at them once a week to keep track of your business. You don't have to do this on a daily basis. Search Console is a tool from Google that lets you just check out all the visits and all the traffic to your website. Social, I'm not the biggest implementer of it, but there's just so much business to be found in referrals and just word of mouth, that like social is a huge part of online presence, and there's tools available. Mia, you use some, don't you, for social to
I
have
do.
social?
We can definitely talk about that as well, the different ways you can get out there and be on social, but not get overwhelmed, because you do want to be out there working actually in your business.
Yeah, that's it. Is you just want to have a nice kind of a tool that gives you a measure, but just it's doing it in the background. Reputation reviews is Yelp's a part of my business. Is I get great reviews at Yelp. I work really hard for people, and that pays off. Is that's always sitting there, and sometimes people aren't happy about like hearing what you think, but they're happy to hear what another person thinks about you.
That
But
is
it
a
all
super important piece, the reputation reviews, absolutely, because that's the old-fashioned gossip in a way.
it's grown up in the past 10 years. Is 20 years ago you didn't have to worry about it, but now you have to worry about it because it's very accurate and it's
Yeah,
very powerful.
and it
Um,
travels fast.
is it's very true. It takes 10 good reviews, probably at least, just to kind of maybe negate one negative one. You have to really work hard on, if you do have a problem, is resolving it with the person. You can't kind of back channel it because everybody's going to see how you manage it.
Mm-hmm.
And then last thing is conversions, which is really what Ammon and really taught me what this is all about. Is from the very beginning, you should work about making sure your system is optimized as much as possible, as quickly as possible, so that all the resources aren't wasted, and you're just going for it immediately, always trying to make sure that your business is being optimally run. Uh,
Time is money, my friend. Time is money.
an opportunity, yes, it sure is. So,
Amen. You ready
yeah,
for the next one?
yeah, thanks.
Okay,
Just a little
hold
bit
on.
more of the outline. Is we can,
Oops, oops. I got a little finger trigger happy there. Here we go. What are the metrics, Jeff? Let's talk about that.
yeah, is these are just like a couple examples. Is there's thousands of metrics, and but like if you're talking about your website, you want to talk about how many people come to your website sessions. You want to talk about how long do they stay on the website? Are they for 3 seconds and do they bounce, or they stay for 3 minutes? If they stay for 3 minutes, where do they go? How long do they land? At the top of the page, bottom of the page? These are all important things. In advertising, ads, Facebook and Bing, they have tables of data that you can just classify exactly your audience. You can specifically choose which type of audience you want to talk to, and then the metrics will come back and it just tell you exactly how much you had success in that. So you can constantly fine tune your advertising. You may want to do local, or you may want to talk to age groups. You may want to talk to even gender. Is me and nothing wrong with talking about how female buying power is so important, especially in real estate.
Oh no, I mean that's the cross. You got the cross center of everything, the intersection of the buying power. Absolutely.
Yeah, when I go to the inspection, the majority of the time is silently there in the background as the boss, just in terms of the financials. And it's important that you recognize that is because they're definitely part of, and probably most of, the purchase decision. Is they're the ones that are going to be home a lot of times, and they need to feel comfortable in their home. So you have to understand is that you have a complete like family to serve, and it's important to do that. Uh,
Amen.
yeah. And then, just reputation review is just check your reviews. Is just don't make mistakes. Honestly, is if you engage with someone in a reputation review based website, make sure you very faithfully service them, because is everything you do becomes public.
Let me also add in that Google is tremendous. Google My Business, we should put that on here too.
That needs to be done.
Google is one of the biggest search engines. As one of my other things that I do is I go on Google quite a bit and I leave reviews. I act as a cheerleader for my community, for the businesses that I love. So, taking a look and making sure, one, that you're on Google My Business, it's such a great tool to use for reputation management. And then also keeping an eye on it, Jeff, right? I mean, talk about the metrics of you can't measure, you have to measure. So, you need to make sure you are on there and answering people.
Yeah, the other thing too is that they're interlinked. So, for example, Google My Business is directly linked to Google Maps, and
Yep.
it turns out a couple like the second biggest search engine in the world now is YouTube,
I know
and
it.
and then Maps, and
Yeah,
until you realize that they're typing in home inspection in Google Maps, and they're discovering you.
they
Is
are.
this is all relevant? So, is have to keep in track of that and take advantage of it.
And just a quick one too. I'm just adding it in here as we go. But this is what I love about Google My Business is you can actually post. It's there's a social piece to it as now as well. So you can post in specials, deals. You can post in a link to your blog post, and that's all in Google Maps that shows up when you get in Google Maps and put your business name in there.
Photos as well, video they've really empowered that. I get over 600 visits per month to my website from Google My Business through the maps and GMB. That's worthy.
Amazing, amazing. And again, this is all part of, we're listing all the metrics here, and that is website, advertising, reputation, through reviews, and then social, like we were saying.
Yeah. So for an example on conversions, if you're getting a 1% conversion rate on your Google My Business and you're getting 600 visits, you're getting 6 inspections a month from GMB. And you
Yeah.
kind of just add that up and multiply that times your inspection rate. If you're charging $250 an inspection, that's $1,500 in revenue. And that's real business.
Love those numbers, brother man. That's actually what makes sense. And then the social piece too, to add to this, I know we'll talk about it more, but that's showing your know, like, trust factor, which I love. I mean, you can just put the really cool projects you've worked on, some of the neat things you've seen, some of the things that the what not to do, like I said. So social really does act as a tool of the know, like, trust factor that shows that you're out there in the community.
It's a great place to share photos and videos and live as well too. It keeps it in the real time, whereas it's very time sensitive.
I've said it a million times. I love, love, love Instagram for inspectors lately. They are able to show all different types of great things, and I've learned some new things from it as well.
Yeah, you get a good, fun conversation there, and it seems very respectful. Is the conversations seem to be civil and still like kind of fun and engaging.
Exactly. All right.
Uh,
Womp womp. Know where you failed. Let's talk about that.
that talk about failure. Yeah, failure a lot of times, it's just success is just learning how to eliminate the failures, and you're eventually left with winning. Is for someone that wins every time. I'm just going, I don't believe that there's always mistakes to be made. So what Ammon always preaches is that you want to maximize your conversions right away, so that you don't keep failing early, because you might be burning resources you need later, but because you failed so much early, you don't have them anymore. So you got to be smart right away. And the second thing is you need to optimize that. You need to improve always constantly your conversions, so that you're working towards making small tweaks and changes, so that instead of 3 people liking what you present out of 100, it becomes 4. And in that, you've grown your business by 33%. And it turns out that adding 1 person or 2 persons, when you're talking about 1 or 2 or 3, 4% conversion rates, can double your business pretty quickly.
Give me some examples of find opportunity in failures, though. I know you're just saying that, but do you have any live examples for yourself of where these 2 points came in for your business?
Yeah, it is. It's the mobile home business. I come back to this a lot, but
I love it.
I'm a home inspector. I don't have time for that. It's beneath me, whatever. I build a website that's based specifically on serving homes and home inspections, and people calling up, do you inspect mobile homes? Like, no, I don't do that. Hello? And to the point where 1,000 people or more are calling about it, and I'm just kind of realizing, and they call from Fresno to Bakersfield to Sacramento and the Bay Area, because nobody does it. And so as we've become very good mobile home experts, and in finding that we were failing to address that market, they just discovered upon us is that, like, we had within there is a potential business opportunity, and we like it. So you have to be aware that where you're failing is a lot of times your clients will be telling you is signaling to you there's a market opportunity there.
I'm going to use the front term. Don't get sidetracked by the sexy sometimes. Folks, you gotta look at where all the different businesses are and find opportunity in failures, or in the thing that may not seem as flash in the pan. So let me go to the next one. Ooh, I like how that slides.
Yeah,
Data is everywhere. Information is informed data. I should cross stitch that on a pillow, Jeff. I love that. Information is informed data.
It is just so relevant, though. It's just that it's like the computer age has brought to us just more and more information. But it's really not information, it's just data. Until you make sense out of it, till you synthesize it, until you take all of that number and translate it into something that has meaning and context to your business. And so it's super important. This really just preaches how much it's important to be filtering out the non-essential stuff, allowing you to stay focused on the core things that are going to really provide key insight into if your business is operating or running well. So you need to know what you're looking for, which means you need to know what your business is what market you're serving, and you need to kind of have an awareness of making sure that the metrics that you're looking at are ones that are targeted towards giving you understanding of that. And then so is tie it into your business as much as you can with just actions. So as I like to just use the example, but if I make a monthly or a weekly deposit for business receipts and checks, and it's kind of a reward to go make a little deposit. It's a way of just congratulating yourself for the business. Is go take some time to look at your analytics and your data right then, and try to see if you can synthesize out of the data a little bit of information to kind of just figure out why you were doing well that week or not doing well that week, and use those two things to correlate together and get better sense of how these metrics are tied to your business.
And is there something that we will be able to offer people too of where they're looking for that too? So we'd love for anybody who's watching this as well. Would you be able to help them with that, Jeff? Because I mean, I think a lot of people may not even know where to look at.
Yeah, is what needs to be done is people need to have an analytics account. So, and there's a little bit more coming up in that or future here as soon as is you have to just go and have a website presence to measure things at, and have a social channel, and have these destinations where people can come and engage with you. And then what you do is you go over and get an analytics account with Google. They're free. And then you start to kind of just add those pages and those destinations into your analytics. And what happens is then as traffic comes to those sites, is it gets gathered and collected and aggregated and collated and sorted, and it gives you starts to read on the data. So what you need to first do is have an analytics account or something set up to have all that information and data land at.
Gotcha. You ready for the next slide?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So is this is
There we go.
I'm going to encourage every home inspector right here. These are all real numbers for my business. This is after 4 years of implementing all these policies. Is I've taken all this data, I pulled it from my private Inspect.net personal business, and I'm sharing it with you. It's a little embarrassing, and it. I'm opening up the curtains, but I believe that it's very important to share this. So let's do this. It's like, here's the channels. For example, is you can see on the first column is you can either see that my business is coming direct. People come right to my website. Google CPC is Google Ads. Google Organic is when someone just goes to Google and searches. Yelp is Yelp, and Bing is Bing, and so on. And you can see the number of sessions in the second column is 160 people come directly to my website. They spend a minute and 51 seconds there, and 40% leave right away. 60 stay. And then if you look over in the next two columns, is there's contact and orders. That's 3 and 17 for 20. That's 20 inspections. That's 20 conversions right there. CPC, for example, is to get 145 website visits. They stay for almost the same amount, 2 minutes, but you can see they don't stick around as long. If someone comes from an ad, they're much less likely to stick. They might even come, not even like it, and leave in 20 seconds. And you can see that in the reduced orders and phone contacts. But is in here is I think the important thing is just to look at the number of sessions and realize if you have a lot of sessions, that's where you want to be focusing a lot of your attention. That's where a lot of your business is coming from. If you don't have a lot of sessions, you have to look and see what you can do there to possibly, if you want to, is spend a little bit of resources and time there to engage with that market more. So this is a good read on all your channels and where your business is coming from, and when they come up, they stick around, and how much they order. Next slide.
And again, that's the importance of taking the time to look at this. I mean, I don't know. Do you suggest just once a week that people take a look at what their metrics are? Because I think that's when you do start to see
Yeah,
the patterns. Mm-hmm.
it's okay to look at it more at first, especially when you first set it up, because
It's
then what you're doing,
exciting.
yeah, it's exciting. It's like you gotta love it. It's like a woohoo.
I
But the
know.
other thing too is it helps you understand the pattern, and then what eventually happens, you start to see it level out. You start to become a lot more familiar with going, oh, that's normal, and you just, oh, that's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is here's for example, is just a little bit of website performances. I have like monthly charts, and it just shows the sessions and the orders and people downloading reports. And the black line is the current month, and then the gray line is the prior month. It gives me just a quick graphical way to see how much business I'm getting and how that compared to just last month. So this is just a quick overview for website in just a graphical form, I can look at this in 10 seconds and I can see how my business is doing.
Love it. You ready for the
Yeah.
next one?
Yeah, please.
Ta-da!
Thanks. Let me know. Yeah.
Okay. Any second now. I'm trying to click and not get too crazy. Which page saw the most traffic?
Yeah, again, this is just on the website is you want to know where people are coming to. And the very top performers home inspections is for reasons I'll explain later, I've upped my Google Ads advertising a little bit, just to competitive in the auction. And as a consequence is I'm getting a lot more traffic coming to the website. So the very top link right there is the line is 244 people visited my website from Google ads. And if I have like a 10% conversion, I could show you that later. 8.5% is that's 24 inspections. It's been a good week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt. And I love,
yeah,
the page. So you look at the page views and then the average time as well. So that's also informative.
yeah, definitely. It's just like if you just like you can see that people are dwelling on a page for like 2 or 3 seconds. You just immediately know it's whatever's at the top of the page is just killing it. You got to fix it. Or is there's just nothing of value there? Either you need to add content or just recognize that maybe it's not even important content. Get rid of the page and consolidate it down. And you want to keep things simple and clean. You don't want a lot of noise and distractions. So is the more you can just have all your information tight and available and get out of the user's way, the better their experience is.
Such a great way to say it. Get out of the user's way. Everybody is busy, even though a lot of folks are home a lot more now. They're looking to get value. They don't waste their time with a busy, chatty little website, right?
And they don't want to hear what you want to say. They want to find what they need.
That also needs to go on a pillow. I like that little cross stitch. They don't want to hear what you
No,
have. It's very true.
those are the things that that marketing online you need to deal with. Is just your first perception is maybe I'm going to tell them how good I am and how I'm an engineer and I'm a contractor and just the best inspector in the world, and that's not what people need to hear. They need to hear what your qualifications are. They need to hear some just you're there for them to really kind of get into like what's important to them, like to validate their decision and to make sure that like you're digging into the little areas to make sure nothing's hiding in between the cracks. They want you to really be their advocate. And so your whole communication effort shouldn't be about talking about yourself, but how your desire is to make sure that they understand that you are the most important thing to them.
That is definitely something as a building inspector myself. The one important thing is helping them see the things they wouldn't normally see, or that's just what you do. And that gives them such a great comfort and a feel. So if you can project that
Yeah.
on your website and your social, it's really important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so
So what you,
again, it's just like this is just like Search Console stuff. Is again is 2,200 clicks to the website and impressions and 28 clicks. So if you look at the last column, that's called the CTR, click through ratio.
mhm.
That's the amount of times that a person sees something that they're going to click through and actually come to your website. Is anywhere in the 1%, 2% range is normal. I think all I would do is just kind of highlight down when you get to about my inspect about page, a lot
Right.
less impressions, but the CTR goes way up because at that point, they really want to know about me. It's like, who is this guy? And think about that. That's really important in the purchase decision is when someone says, I want a building inspector, what the first thing they're going to do is, who's my inspector? Is he qualified? Let me find out about him. And I think that's directly reflected in that CTR there, ma'am.
And then looking at all these numbers too, Jeff, which I can really appreciate that you're looking at these categories. So earthquake retrofits, manufactured, you've got mobile home leaks. We talked about that during the last show as well. Insulation, appliances, exterior. So that does give you an idea. This is where you can really measure this
How about this?
just based on the entrance.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are actually not website pages. These are actually more blog posts where
Right.
we've written about plumbing, we've written about earthquake retrofitting, and that's evergreen content, Mia. Once that is written and it's up on the website, people keep coming back and back and back to it. You don't have to make any investment in it, and it just keeps generating new business for you. So you have to have evergreen content for sure. You can see the value of it there. And for example, earthquake retrofits. We live in the San Francisco Bay Area. Earthquakes are reality,
Right.
and people want to know about it.
They do. Yeah, that's going to be one of the biggest search things. And I'm going to blow your mind on this one, going back on social real quick.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of poking into Pinterest, and Pinterest really can be a great place as well for you to do pins over there that lead back to your website. That's, there's a lot of folks over there that are looking for those kind of tips. So don't leave Pinterest off the table. We're going to talk about that, you and me,
Thank you.
over on the side here, because
Yep.
that is something I think for this is a great tool as well. Don't leave that one out, inspectors. Okay,
Yep.
so we got a little extra inspect down there. What were the top search queries? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, this is just a metric of like when people are typing into the search engine is you want to connect with them, but you have no idea how they're going to engage with you. Maybe they're going to type in home inspector Hayward, California. Maybe they're going to type in Hayward, California home inspections. Maybe they're going to type inspectors in Hayward. You just don't know. But what you want to do is you want to be looking at the top search queries, because what they do is they give you keys into exactly how people are typing in. And then what you can do is turn it and reverse around and make your content talk to those topics. And so as I'm seeing is like, look at that mobile home roof repairs is got to
There
be
it is
talking about
again.
that.
There
Wrote a
it is
blog,
again.
wrote a
Yep.
blog post about it, and it gets great engagement. And I get people calling up and just saying, thank you. And I'm like, for what? And they said, for writing that blog post. And that was written over a year ago. But they said it's immensely helped me. It got me through exactly what I need to know right when I had the roof leak. Thanks a lot. I'm going, that's a really wonderful phone call.
That is a winning. That's a winning
No,
moment for you there.
no money, but like, is if that person ever has a need of an inspector, you know who they're going to refer, and that's fine. It's just doing and serving the market anyways.
That definitely set up a no like trust factor as well for them too, as they had somebody like, hey, this is again not super sexy subject, but it's what people have. People have homes. They're going to have leaks. They have mobile homes. So I love that. All right, let's talk. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, wow. Week over week is I just like to take a look at the performance over a week because it helps me understand. And so you can see how is at the grand total at the bottom is usually somewhere between 11 and 1300, but like is in week 25, 26, 27, as you can see, I'm ramping it up a little bit. I'm getting more impressions because I'm throwing a little bit more money at the auction. You can see how many clicks I'm getting, the click through. And then the position is basically is if you type home inspection in Google, is it starts to display, and everybody of course wants to talk about being top page, first page, is you can see my average position. And it's hard to get up in the home inspection business in the top 100 because, Angie's List, Home Advisor, all the major companies, the aggregators, they tend to be there. So it just shows position. So it's just a way for me to just gauge my business over a long period of time, comparing it to prior weeks.
Again, these are all numbers you want to keep an eye out and take a look at. Let's go to the next slide here.
Yeah, you could. I encourage you to take in as you start to implement your program is use these as good metrics, as like measures. And if you're hitting these numbers, you're doing good. I applaud you. Ad groups. This is just in Google Ads. I have multiple campaigns. It's really an amazing process who you can talk to and segment down exactly what you want to. So you can see here is on the ad group. Sometimes I'm talking to local markets like local Hayward, or sometimes I'm talking to concepts like brand Inspect.net, and you can actually even see in here I'm talking to competitors. Competitor Home Guard is what you're trying to do is just make sure that you're getting good representation no matter what, and people are seeing you. And about the only thing over here is that if you look at over in the fourth column where it says COMBE, that's conversions. As you see a 1 for the first 5, that's 5 home inspections. And if you then take and compare the costs for those 5, that's about $125. So that's basically $2,000 in business for $125 in advertising. So, 6% is fine. Is if I spend $6 and I make 100, I'm doing it again.
Exactly. But again, these are looking at the metrics and seeing what works. I mean, you can always kind of tool with it. Choose A, choose B, but it is really great to keep an eye on these two and you see what works. And if you're just tuning in, you're watching Inspect.com. I'm Mia Voss. This is Jeff Bond, and we are talking about analytics and performance metrics for your inspection business. So look at this.
And conversions. Always, always, always.
Money. Exactly. Yeah.
just keywords here, Mia, is what I have blanked out is you can, is the common industry words here, home inspection and home inspector, and sometimes is variants of that property inspection, property inspector. And remember is you have to try to guess what the person on the other end of the computer is going to type in to get to you. And
Yeah,
they may call you a property inspector and you just keep on saying, I'm a home inspector. And guess what? You're not connecting
that's right.
because it's not connecting. And so
Because you got stuck on that word.
because you got stuck on that word, it's your bias. It's like keeping you from like opening up your view. And that is such a key point, Mia, is you have to step out of your world and recognize that this is how the customers come and engage with you. You have to get into their world. So yeah, these are just chances to see costs for impressions and conversions. And you can see that some have yielded some pretty nice over a period of time is business. And the thing is, you set these up and then you throw a budget at it and they just keep on working for you. And it's like the yellow pages, but it's dynamic.
And interactive, and it's listening, and it's going to keep it is an IA type of thing, which intelligence of it's going to pay attention to it. All right, here's
Yeah.
our next one. We have search auction insights. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, when you're in Google Ads, you're going to just have what's called the auction, whereas what you do is you go bid is someone's going to type in home inspection. You're going to bid how much you're willing to let your ad be presented to that person. And is in the auction is you have a typical set of players. So my competition is I run a local campaign is Home Advisor, Angie's List, Home Guard is just Google's out of the mix for the week. Thank goodness. But is you can see the second column is really important, impression share. It just shows how many times if someone types something it's likely that your ad will get shown. And you can see that Home Advisor, they get almost half the time that people type in home inspection or whatever is that they're getting their impressions. So they're getting their name out there. I'm in second place, but like what's nice and neat here is in the column with the first arrows is you can see all the red arrows pointing down for everyone except for the second line. That's me. That's where I bumped up my spend by 25%. So I went from $1,000 up to $1,250 per month. And you can see I actually got more impression share, but like you can see how it also whittled away on the other ones, except for Housemaster at the bottom. You can see how much they drop. They're capitulating. You can just see from that number that they're not continuing to fund their auction, and their impression share is going way down. So you can literally, like this, you can see what your competitors are doing. And I promise you, as Home Advisors and pardon me, Angie's List, they see me.
They do.
Yeah.
They're like this. We got our
Yep.
eye on you, bud. That's so fascinating to look at these numbers as well.
You need
All
to know
right.
what your competitors are doing. Yeah.
You
And then
do.
this is just local. Is this map is all, these are all static slides, but is on my data studio report, I can click here and just click down in the country and down to the state and then to the city. And you can see where the business comes from. But I think the second and third columns, what I want to just show you is that I also track my new users.
Okay.
I want to know people that have never been to my website before. And that kind of helps me understand how much I'm potentially bringing in new business.
And Jeff, this is through Google Analytics. Is that right?
This is what's called Data Studio, is another free tool from Google that lets you capture information from multiple platforms, including analytics and Facebook and Twitter and everything. It's a really intensely deep data tool, and they don't claim it's real time, but I promise you it's about 2 seconds delayed. These are instant reads on your data.
It's
So
amazing.
it is amazing. It's a super wonderful tool. If you haven't looked it up, it's called Data Studio. Highly recommend it.
We'll post links in here for you as well, folks, because
Yeah,
there's
perfect.
a lot in here. And we've got about four more slides of really great information. Tell us about search query insights.
Yeah, just again is like the first column, the search term is home inspection cost. People are price conscious, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Their home guard inspection. There goes people like searching for one of my competitors, Bay Area Home Inspections, Home Inspection San Jose. These are all little different variances of people trying to find a home inspector in the Bay Area and just getting little nuances into their search pattern. And then based on what they typed in, the second column, the impression, shows basically if someone typed in home inspection, is that 35 of those people actually saw me. Did they come through or not? Is if you look at the CTR, it's about the sixth column over.
Mhm.
You can see is 11% of them came over. That's good. That's really good. Is look at down that click to ratio, that CTR
I was about to
column.
say, what's the CTR? Tell our viewers what that means. So that's click to ratio. So those are, those the
Yeah,
Bay Area home inspections.
click through ratio is that's how many people actually see something that's presented and click through over into the website. Is look at the next column, 82.9% up is my click throughs way up because of this recent pandemic with COVID. People are not finding inspectors normal way. They're coming on websites and doing web searches, and you can see it's literally I've almost doubled the amount of traffic coming to the website because people are using search to find these services. So is it really that delta of 82.9% tells me that people are really, really, really searching. If you look at the funny one, it's the home inspection cost minus 61%. You know what that says is people don't care what it costs. They want to get a good inspector. It's like finding the cheapest doctor when you have a serious problem. That's just not what's on the mind of the consumer. So these metrics and these data and these tables let you realize things like that.
Super fun.
Super fun.
I know it sounds crazy, but once you start looking at this and think about if you're looking at this with your own business, which by the way, folks, we are looking to maybe have somebody come on and we can do this with them with their business because you imagine how exciting this is to look at these numbers if it's actually your business.
Oh, and it's growing. It's just the most amazing feeling. It's just like watching like a child grow. It's really, if you're a small business owner, it's a couple jobs, and it's a passion, and it's a life's passion. Is it feels really good to get traction, and just that you're able
It
to
does.
measure it, let you measure that. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are interesting slides. The next four are pretty quick, Mia, but like
Okay.
is sessions is 411 is I'm down 30%. So I'm going, is like my website traffic is down 30%. That doesn't sound fun. So go to the next slide. And contact rate, the number of people calling me is down to 1.22%. They're not calling me either. This is starting to get like a little nervous from a small business perspective is they're not coming to the website. They're not calling me what's up. But if you look at the bounce rate, it's down almost 20%. Is just, you know what? But whoever's coming here, they're
Just staying.
serious. They're sticking and they're staying. So
That's
maybe some of the
amazing.
are the looky-loos gone, and are like the people that really need the service sticking here, and now they really sticking and staying. And why don't you hit that last slide? There's the answer.
Dude,
There's the answer. Is
there it is.
8.5% of the people that come to my website order a home inspection. That's a crazy number. Is I encourage anybody to have fun with that. But is in 100 visits, I get 8.5 orders. And so you're doing 600 visits, you're getting 50 orders per month from an online presence system where you didn't do a thing other than present it. And you can see that it's up 35% because really is this online presence thing has become very critically important with COVID. But it doesn't negate the fact that people need homes. They're just really changing the way that they're finding it. And these metrics and analytics let you kind of keep a measure on it. And it all works towards just conversion, making your
Yeah.
business more efficient, doing more with less.
I like it. I feel so we have a ton of information. So thank you for that. But it also simplified a lot, I feel like, so that it isn't too overwhelming. It's just getting in the habit of taking a look at your numbers.
It is. Set up a simple analytics system and just start looking at your numbers and start seeing the patterns, and you'll start to understand them, and then you'll start to look at how they sync with your business, and you'll start to see the correlation, and it'll feel really good to get an understanding. It's just like anything is, it's a learning experience, a learning curve, and it's like muscle memory is it takes a while to swing the hammer to get good at it, and you got to swing your analytics hammer for a while, but the knowledge will come and then you'll become much better with it.
Got to put that time in there to work on your business instead of just in your business, which is what
Yeah.
we all do a lot, is just get out there and keep working. But if you want to grow your business, and now is the time more than any. So thank you for all that great information. We're closing up on the second episode of Information for Inspectors. Next week, what are we going to be talking about?
Not sure. Is it
Okay, I'll tell you.
is it
Okay, I'll tell
ads? Is it,
you. Well, right now I have on the list that we're going to be talking about define yourself, your brand, budget, and markets. We're going to dive more into reputation and reviews and channeling your business presence. So that's going to be episode 3. We're going to be doing this live stream here on Facebook. We're also going to be putting it over on YouTube. So if you are an inspector and you'd like to get listed in Inspect.com, go to Inspect.com. We'll take a look at you. We'll make sure you're bona fide, because any of the inspectors that are listed on our website, you got to jump through hoops, right?
Yeah, you want a professional experience for every single client. So we're just picky about who comes on.
We sure are. All right. So we'll see everybody next week. I'm Mia Voss. That's Jeff Bond. And thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Have a great day.
See you next week.